Hi, welcome to Channel Squared, where we connect with you, the divine, and channel here with you live. I'm Heather Marie, founder of Soulgate.
And I'm Darlene Greene, founder of Abundance Consciousness. And today we're talking about healing with your own light, aging, healing, and divine light within with our special guest, Darlene. Welcome, Darlene.
Thank you, Jody Lynn and Heather. It's great to be with you guys.
Yeah.
We are so excited about this conversation today because Jody and I have been on a certain product for the last 30 days, ish, roughly. Jody may be a few days less because she lives in Canada out in the sticks. So but roughly about 30 days. And so we really wanted today to come on here and tell you all about this like amazing voodoo witchcraft that has entered our life because it's so magical and so fantastic. And yeah, I'm super stoked about it. So Jody, where do we start?
Okay. Maybe we just talk about the collective backstory, how we were introduced. I think that's a great place to start. So I was on a podcast with Walt on Wednesdays. I have a podcast with Walt, a Law of Attraction podcast, and Darlene was our guest. And to even before we even start talking about the product, what blew me away, to be 100% transparent, Darlene, was just how excited you were and how genuine and transparent you were about your experience. Like that was it for me. It felt like this divine message from God, like you needed Darlene, you were meant to be here, she was meant to be here, like sign up now. And then obviously I tell my friends about everything. So I immediately went to Heather and my other friend Jackie and was like, you got to hear about these patches. And I'm not even really sure, Darlene, how you got introduced to the company, but you told your story on why you guys started trying them. And I think maybe that's where we go next.
Okay.
So I think that's important.
Sure. So yeah, my husband, I will back up a little bit even before my husband and just start with telling you I had two very bad marriages, very bad marriages that I came out of with PTSD and 3 autoimmune disorders and my own set of health challenges, 10 years of court experience, a ton more financial challenges than I'd ever like to shake a stick at. And I was never going to date again and never going to get married again and never. And the angels bestowed upon me, in spite of all of my ranting, my current husband. And it took me a long time. Actually, I went through a lot of therapy. To ever be able to even date. Like we did group things for a year, like a long time. We did group things and then finally dated. And then eventually I was like, I would be really lucky if this man married me. So I have an angel of a husband. We've been married 16 years. And a few years ago, he began evidencing a substantial neurological decline. And we did a lot. I mean, immediately we were like, okay, what is this? Is it a tumor? What's going on? And it was early Alzheimer's. And there's just not a good option for that. And so in as quick a nutshell as I can tell you, we tried everything from going out of country and having IV stem cells 4 times a year, both for him and for me at very high expense, $10,000 for each of us to get an IV. And then we did hyperbaric chamber. We completely revamped the diet to eat really healthy, took everything that was, alcohol, soda, sugar, white flour, you name it, we took it out. We have a saying in our family, if it tastes good, spit it out, which is not true, but we really cleaned up the whole diet act and we exercised and we got a trainer and the decline continued. And we were at a stage where Jim was really a shell of his former self. He was sleeping most of the day away, 3.5 hours a day, falling asleep at 7 at night, going to bed at 8:30, really not engaging in conversation, really not even his personality anymore. I think conversation was just too hard for him. And certainly he was asking me a lot of the same questions. So we were introduced to these patches. There was a friend of mine who's like a dear friend of mine who had the same hairdresser that I have. And my hairdresser said, I know you and Jim went out for a stem cell, IV and such. There's this friend of mine who's talking about patches that activate your own stem cells. And I was just like, where, what, tell me all about this. And I connected with her and we began to try them. And there really was no downside from my perspective. I was desperate. I certainly looked at the studies. There are over 90 clinical studies. There's a lot of thousands of testimonials, but I watched everyone on Alzheimer's. I watched all the neurological decline ones. I watched everything. And I was just like, oh my gosh, there's hope here. And so it took, as you know, it's like you're waiting for your patches to come. And I'm just like, okay. So they arrived. And that first week, we had this just extraordinary transformation. I don't even know. I got my husband back in a week. In the first week, he was not sleeping through the day. He was not asking me the same question over and over again. He was chatty like a dam broke open and he had 2 years of conversation to come out. And he was with it. He was so with it. And I guess the heartwarming part for me is that he was funny again. He was his personality again. So there's lots of other things. He got a sense of smell back after 5 months, which he'd lost 15 years ago. He had other neurological gains like ability to whistle. And so, yeah, I became kind of like a crazed lunatic over these patches because that's just his experience. Then I had my own. It got me out of pain. I had 5 months of being in a chair with a broken foot and sprained ankle and had surgery. And I was in so much pain. And the Ice Wave product got me out of pain with no drugs. And I couldn't even believe it. It was so remarkable, but it also lifted my depression. And to be quite honestly, I wanted to cry every single day. I was mad at the world that my husband, my beautiful husband, angel gift of all the people in the world to get Alzheimer's, right? This was not what I wanted for him, for us. And so I was depressed, and all my coping strategies like exercising or walking around the neighborhood or just being social had kind of been taken away when I broke my foot. And so it was all this perfect storm. But the patches lifted my depression within a period of just a few weeks. And I was happy and able to live in a place of gratitude again. And other great things for me, my autoimmune, I had POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia, which is a pretty serious condition I was diagnosed with way back in 2005. And they basically prescribe a blood pressure medicine that increases your blood pressure so that I don't pass out, because I would pass out and hit the corner of my head. Anyway, it was bad. And I don't have to take any of that medicine anymore. I'm not passing out anymore. I don't have any of my autoimmune disorder issues anymore. I don't have migraines anymore. I don't have headaches anymore. I am doing great, and I'm grateful, and I'm a lunatic about these patches now and I'm a little salty that I didn't know about them, because I did do a lot of research. I looked for stuff, right? And this was why didn't I know about these? When I find out that over 300 Olympic athletes wore them in the 2008 Olympics, I'm a little mad about the fact that it's not out there more publicly. And I get that, pharmaceutical companies kind of own media and government, and like everybody's in bed together, and these natural products that like this thing that's reflecting your own light back into you, they don't want you to heal and get well and be able to not use all their drugs. And I would never have talked on a podcast. Like I was the
okay,
person
hang on. I want to touch on something that you just talked about, because I think this is something that I think the viewers here are kind of like, what is going on? What is this crazy conversation that we're having here right now about all of these things that have been healed? And you said something really interesting that I think kind of alludes to why we are talking about these today. And this is, what is this thing that reflects your light back into you? And so you're talking about these patches, and you're talking about this amazing transformation that your husband's had, that you've had, all of these Olympic athletes, used during the 2008 Olympics. So this was the part of your initial introduction interview with Jody that like grabbed me, was the light reflecting back into you. And we talk a lot about like the soul and the light within you, and how your light comes out, how you are influenced by light. So just for everybody to catch you all up, we're talking about a sticker. a sticker, a sticker, you guys, a sticker that is like the fountain of youth in a sticker. And what's so crazy about this sticker, I'm gonna let Darlene tell us more about it, but what's so crazy about this sticker is there is literally nothing in it other than a mirror, right?
Yeah, it's like nanocrystals that are formed into a lattice structure that reflects your own light back at a very specific wavelength to elevate copper peptide to activate your stem cells. And, you know, they'll use the word photobiomodulation, and a lot of people are like, I don't know what that is, but you actually do know what that is, because you know when you go outside in the sun and you have the light on you and the sun on you, your body makes vitamin D or melanin for a suntan.
Mhm.
And people understand that you have light in you. Like if I looked at you with night vision goggles, I would see light inside of you. Well, this little sticker is just hermetically sealed, so nothing is going in the body. You can even have it on the outside of your shirt, and it's reflecting the light that's within you back into your body at a very specific wavelength to elevate peptides, activate your stem cells, and also to change gene expression. I mean, it is just so amazing that the inventor, as we talked about, it speaks to the fact that this was downloaded by the divine. I mean, he has all of these patches. The first patch was one that he was asked to do for the Navy SEALs energy enhancer. This one was the one that all of the athletes were wearing in the 2008 Olympics, and it does amazing things for your mitochondrial. But he was basically asked to create a mechanism for keeping them awake and alert and not on drugs or bad pharmaceuticals for days at a time. And that began 20 years ago. So this company's been around 20 years ago, harnessing and reflecting your light. And there's an anesthesiologist, Dr. Joseph Peck, who is a 40-year doctor, who says this is the most significant medical breakthrough in my lifetime. And when you think about harnessing your own body's light, that should be on the front page of Time, right? That should be on every newspaper, every news media outlet, everywhere, especially when you hear all these testimonials from all of these people that it's affecting.
Right. And I think what's so interesting about this conversation really and truly is that a lot of times we don't believe, one, that we can be healed or that our body can heal itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about light on our show. We talk about frequency, like Heather was just talking about. But it's hard to conceptualize, even when you're spiritual, even when you understand these things at a certain level, it's hard to really believe that. And I think that's one of the magical things about the stickers, the patches, is you start to see these transformational changes happen within your body. And then for me, it really started to download, like, my body can heal itself. It has the ability with its own light. It was designed to heal itself. Just give it the right tools and it will. And for me, like, watching, I thought, well, I'm pretty healthy outside of the infertility issues that I had experienced before. On the outside, I look younger than I am, and I don't have any like major health issues. I eat pretty okay. Like, I've just been blessed to be pretty darn healthy in my life. So I was really struggling when I started, because I thought this could be the thing that heals my fallopian tube, heals whatever's going on that caused the problems that I had been experiencing over the last 5 years. And I thought, okay, well, I need to track like some sort of indicators or something about like what's changing, because I need to bring my conscious and subconscious mind into believing that this is a possibility, that even though I can't see what's going on the inside because I don't have access to, scanners or whatever to do before and after tests, I need something on the outside that I can see. And so I wrote down all of these things that I wanted to track that were very surface level things, like the scars that I have from my first ectopic pregnancy. And that was one of the big things. And apparently I have a lot of scars on my body that I never really noticed until I started on this journey. But I remember it was day 3 in the morning. So I had been wearing the patches for 2 days. And then I had just put them on an hour for day 3. And Heather and I were watching this thing. about life wave. I think it was some sort of training or something like that. We were on some sort of conference call and they were talking about, changes. And I saw a picture and I was like, oh, I wonder, what my scars look like, because it was day 1, I think day 2 and like day 5 or something, this guy's face was completely cleared up. And so it was just sheer curiosity, like lift up my shirt. I wasn't on camera, but just like lift up my shirt. And I look and I struggled to find the scar that was on my right hand side, which the scars on my stomach were really gnarly, even though it was 4 years ago. They were still fresh, like they looked like, less than a year old. And the one on my right side was almost completely gone. And now I've been on the patch for, I think, 16 days. The one on the right is completely gone. The 2 on the left are way better than before. I had a chickenpox scar from when I was a kid. That's probably my oldest scar. My brother used to tease me relentlessly when I was little that it was my 3rd nipple because it was on my chest, boys, silly boys. But it was always something that I was very conscious of and insecure about in a bathing suit or whatever. And I'm like day 5 or something or less than that. I was like, oh, it's gone. It's gone. I'm watching my body change right before my eyes. And that's really building the belief that something is going on within, even more magical than what I can see on the outside too.
That is so cool, because that remodeling is known to be a byproduct of anytime you elevate GHKCU. And most of your audience probably hasn't heard of GHKCU, but they can look it up in PubMed and they can Google it and see there's been 50 years of studies on that. But that remodeling is happening on the inside of your body as well as the outside. I mean, we do have scars. I have shoulder surgeries, 2 of them. I have a knee surgery. I have feet surgeries. I have, we have surgeries that have created scar tissue that can be very problematic, particularly potentially for you in the fallopian tubes, right? We want to make sure that gets remodeled. And those stem cells, which are what made you to begin with, they come together, the first 2 cells, they can be anything. They can become brain or heart or lung or tissue, muscle or ligament or anything in your whole body that is needed. And they go where they're needed to go start the repair work. They're magical. And I didn't know when you're 30, half of your stem cells were dormant. And I didn't know that when you're 60, they're almost all dormant. And I'm, 58, about to be 59. So I'm like, well, but you know what? I have a whole lot of stem cells going on now after my patching.
Yeah. I think that like for me personally, my personal experiences with it so far, and I've been on them, it will be 30 days on the 7th. So in a couple days here, I will be on them for 30 days. And immediately I'm talking like immediately. So day 1, okay, fun fact about Heather, she is a testing maniac. So I test my hormone levels every single day because I'm trying to have a baby and I'm trying to make sure that we time everything perfectly so that we actually get a baby. And the thing is that I'm very in tune with my body and how it feels. And so for well over 2 years, I had been dealing with reflux. So anyone who's watching right now who suffers from that is like, I feel your pain, literally. And one of the things that I noticed is I had done my testing in the morning and then I put my patches on for the very first time. And like, no shit, within 30 minutes, the reflux feeling that I always feel was completely absent. And I was like, did I take a Tums? Because that's all I was taking. I wasn't taking any reflux medication because I'm trying to have a baby. I don't want any of those drugs in my body. So I just suffer through it every day, all the time. I mean, I was popping Tums like Tic Tacs, y'all. And I put those patches on and I'm not kidding at all. I'm 100% serious when I say it was 30 minutes at most. And the symptom of it was completely gone. I was not in pain. I didn't have that full feeling where I felt like if I threw up, maybe it would feel better. I didn't have any of that. I have not had that once since I put the patches on. Not
And
one
you've
time.
tested it, right? Like you've tried to eat garlic and spicy foods and stuff that you
I
really set it
have
off, right?
Yes, yes. I have eaten every single trigger food that is on the list to set it off, and in high quantities. Like, I'm like, I am going to test these suckers. It is gone. It's completely gone. I don't even that I seriously, my entire family is like, what do you mean it's gone? What do you mean it's gone? Like, it's completely gone. I'm like, no, it's really gone, because you have to, when you wear the patches, you have to be out of the patches for a certain amount of time, right? And so in that off time, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to come back, because I wear my patches during the day. And anybody who has this condition knows that it's really bad at night when you're laying down. Nope, nope, it's not there. It's not
Gone.
there. It's gone. It's amazing. It's like a miracle. One of the other things that I've noticed about being on the patches is that I have lost 10 pounds. I've lost 10 pounds, and I have not done anything different. In fact, I'd say that I probably have done more bad food items than good food items, because I've been testing the reflux, right? So like, I'm like, give me the candy, give me the sugary sodas, give me the things that normally would trigger all of these conditions, just so I can test them. And like, not only have I not had those symptoms, but I have also lost weight, and I'm starting to see a disappearance of gray hair. And I'm like, how is this even possible? I'm going to go have my hair done here in a couple of weeks, and my stylist is going to be like, what in the world is happening right now? It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm a fan.
It is, I want to speak to the kind of, it's not really, I don't know, reflux is sort of associated with the gut, I guess. And I want to say that there is a lot of evidence around improvement in the gut, not just from my friends and I have a nurse friend who had years of leaky gut and gut issues, so bad that she was almost bowled over in pain anytime she ate, and she had limited, thrown out this, thrown out that. She was on a bare minimal diet and could still barely eat. And she was the biggest skeptic. I mean, she looked at this little patch when I had lunch with her one day, and she said, Darlene, I'm a nurse. Like, I don't know. And I said, well, she had a hurt knee. And I said, let me ice wave patch your knee. And the ice wave works immediately. Like, so she was in like 7 pain. I put the ice wave patches on her, and the pain went away. And she's like, okay, there's something to this light energy. I don't know. I don't understand it, but okay, I'll give it a try. Well, within, I think it was 2 weeks, her gut was feeling great. She could eat. She wasn't bowled over in pain. I will tell you, my sister, microscopic colitis for 6 years, water running through her, unable to hold nutrients, causing heart palpitations, very, very damaging to her heart and all of her health when you're not able to keep in nutrients. 6 years, she did everything. She did the Mexico IV stem cells. She did antibiotics. She did steroids. And within 3 weeks of patching, her microscopic colitis cleared up. She just couldn't even believe it. She couldn't believe it. There's a lot of testimonials of people with gut issues, because the gut is one of, I'm not going to say the easier things to cure or to heal, but it turns over. Those cells turn over really quickly. And so it makes it very, I think you notice that quicker. I think there are some things that are a little harder, like the heart, for example. When you wear this X39 patch for 6 weeks, your cardiovascular system begins acting as if it were 8 weeks younger. Well, you may not feel that, Now the brain one, I think you do feel, and I'm interested if you all have begun to experience this. I know I felt it in the lift of mood, but in just 3 to 6 weeks, you can actually see on an EEG the inflammation go down, the nervous system calm down, your improvement in a reduction of brain inflammation and an improvement of memory and focus and function, those kinds of things, because it's actually helping with cell and nerve regeneration. So, I mean, I'm all over that part of the brain. I think there's a ton of neurodegenerative, neurogenerative improvements that can occur as a result of just elevating GHKCU that I've gotten to watch in my husband and experience myself. But I have had other friends talk about, I'm just calmer and I'm managing the shit better. Like it just roll off of me a lot better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the
absolutely.
things that my husband has also reported is that he's like, I just feel more peaceful. He goes, I don't get the agitation as much. I feel like I can keep my cool, better and longer, which, I'm sure that I test that patience constantly. So, I can say that, he to me seems more balanced also. Um, and it's funny that, you say that about the gut because I've struggled with my gut my whole life. I mean, I've had a leaky gut my whole life. And one of the things that, I found really interesting is how, like the Eon patch, for example, because it works so well on the inflammation, you can take tissue that's inflamed, put a patch there, and it takes the inflammation down like overnight. It's unbelievable. I mean, this truly to me is like medicine of the future. I mean,
Mhm.
hands down.
Absolutely. Kat asked a question in the chat on YouTube here. She said, how does this differ from other natural sources, for example, selenite or crystals around you? And if I can take a crack at answering that, and Darlene, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the difference is in the way the patch is designed to reflect your light back into you at a certain frequency. And that frequency is doing the hard work or the hard lifting of creating these peptides in your body that regenerate the stem cells, and it has like this domino effect. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, I would say there's a big difference between taking in something external that's outside your body and bringing it in. Like let's just talk about glutathione for a second. So, a lot of people know about glutathione now because when we went through the pandemic, glutathione is one of the things that's your body's master antioxidant, and it can really boost your immune system. It does a lot of amazing things for us. It's also your master detoxifier. So I was getting, I mean, with 3 autoimmune disorders in the middle of a pandemic, there was not enough I could do to help boost my immune system. And glutathione was one of the things I was taking orally, and I was getting IV as well. But I found out that my glutathione, I mean, first of all, it's hard, right? You got to get it through. If I'm taking it early, it's got to go through the stomach lining. It's got to get all the way, and it doesn't get everywhere it needs to go. IV is better, but even IV, it was elevating my glutathione 27% for 7 minutes. Well, this patch that we have that you just showed, the glutathione patch, it raises your own body is raising your own glutathione levels by 300% on average, and it keeps it there for 24 hours. So the difference is dramatic in that it's your body elevating your things that it needs to do healing. And at the right, like balancing hormone, it's bringing it into a homeostasis, optimizing your own health at not an artificial level. It's not like how much glutathione do I need to throw in an IV and get into my body for it to work and get it to where it needs to go. This is my own body saying, let's pop those glutathione levels higher by using your own light to reflect back at each patch is going to reflect at a different wavelength to elevate a different peptide, and the glutathione one works. It's amazing. It can get rid of infections. It actually combined with the Eon and the X39, the glutathione will help get rid of spiked proteins, which everyone who's had the vaccination has, and anyone that's been around somebody has a high likelihood of having them. And if you've had COVID, you have spike proteins. So a ton of people have spike proteins and don't even understand how damaging they are to your everything, your gut, your heart, your lungs, your everything, right? And so getting rid of those, if you're not doing something to get rid of them, you need to. And what an easy thing to do. For 2 months, if you wear those 3 patches, we have actually live blood study cell results from my friend that introduced me to the pouches. She did the live cell study. She had 6 cells. They all had spike proteins all over them, tons of them. And then she went back in 6 weeks and all of them were gone except one. And those 3 pouches knocked them out. So yeah, I think you're right on. I just think our body has an innate wisdom to know how to heal itself. And what a beautiful thing that it's our own light. I mean, just it's so empowering to feel like we're giving our body the tools that we need in a way that it needs it exactly right. And it just gives me a lot of hope. It gives me a lot of hope for my husband. And I mean, he's certainly not cured. He's still very much an adult toddler, to be quite honest. We've got a long way to go, but he is his personality again. He is funny. He is flirty. He is awake. He is talking. He's all of these things that he wasn't. I mean, that was like death. It was just awful. And so we're back in a different world now. So I am, it's all I can do to not tell everyone I bump into about these patches. When I see somebody on crutches, I just want to say, oh, I can help you with your pain. I just had a broken foot. And it's when I see somebody, when I'm driving down the road and I see someone in a wheelchair, I want to pull over. It's like, really, I've got to set boundaries, and I have to like zip myself up and go, okay, you cannot go tackle people down the hallways and say, let me tell you about these patches, because I want to, because I know that if people knew what I know, if they felt what I feel, if they saw what I see every day, the people, the responses, the texts I get, then they would definitely be on the patches. No matter what, they would figure out, I'd mortgage a house really to do whatever to get on these patches, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to.
Yeah.
They're not that expensive, I mean, they're relative to IV or other things are way, way more.
In comparison to IV or, some of the other treatments that are out there, I think the X39 and the Eon patch together is what, like $150,
right?
From supply.
Yes.
That's crazy. Like, imagine, I mean, you got off of a lot of medication that you were on and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's what people should do. Obviously they should, take their doctor's recommendations into factor. But I mean, where you live, I know in Canada it's a little bit different, but where you live, prescriptions are astronomical. And even to a point here, a lot of different things are, if you don't have benefits, there's a lot of money that goes into prescriptions. I wonder if somebody could use their health spending account for patches.
Maybe.
I don't know. It depends. As I understand it, it depends on the program. Probably a good time for me to throw the disclaimer in that LifeWave products are not intended to cure, treat, diagnose, or prevent any diseases. They do. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that some people can certainly pull that out. And I will tell you, there are a lot of our doctor friend, Dr. Cashel Southwick, pharmacist, she's no longer having to take her thyroid medicine. A lot of people no longer need blood pressure medicine. I didn't even tell you guys, my husband's blood pressure dropped 37 points. People's cholesterol medicine, they don't need cholesterol medicines anymore. There's just, the one thing you do have to do is you need to get it checked, because when your body starts optimizing and you don't want to keep taking those medicines. And there are some doctors who are very anti blood pressure and cholesterol medicine. They believe that my naturopath says he thinks that the statins are causing the Alzheimer's epidemic in the world. So, what a great thing to be able to use a patch that not only is helping all of the other systems and organs optimize in your body, but it's getting you off of things that all drugs have some kind of side effect. So if that's, boy, I would caution anybody to consider thinking about alternatives.
Yeah, we actually had a question from someone in our live feed over here on YouTube, and she's asking, if you can give a few more things that it helps with, like ADD, sleep apnea, like what else does it help with that,
Yes. What doesn't it help with? I've gone in and collected a list of things that, I've had people I've been doing this 8 months. And so if I were to give you the list I've gone into a place where we have literally video testimonials, and I will tell you, I have them on people having their A1C lowered, acid reflux, acne, addictions, Addison's disease, ADHD, AFib, alcohol, allergies, Alzheimer's, anger, anxiety, arthritis, asthma, autism, autoimmune, people with back pain, Bell's palsy, blindness, blood clot, blood pressure, bone density, bone marrow, bone on bone knees, bone spurs, brain tumors, breathing, broken. I mean, COVID, cholesterol, depression, diabetes, dyslexia, energy, fainting, fibroids, yay, right? For you guys. I had one friend who said, well, will it help me with my golf game? Yes. Here's a professional golfer who said, yes, it helped him get back, decrease his back stiffness, improved his range of motion, and increased his golf game. Hormones, kidney, lungs, lupus, Lyme's disease, mental health, migraines, MS, necks, lung cancer, osteopenia, osteoporosis, Parkinson's, pneumonia, plantar fasciitis, psoriasis, rosacea. I had rosacea. It's no longer there. Sciatica, seizures. I mean, I don't know that there's, I mean, if you think about it, what can't your stem cells help you with? It just may take time. You can't direct where your stem cells go. So I mean, I would love to say, okay, all of Jim's stem cells, I need you to report to the brain immediately. Go to work, and I only want you there. I don't care what else is going on. And I don't care if he's got back pain. All of you go to the brain, but you can't do that, right? So they go where they need to be working on things, and hopefully they're prioritizing the way they should be. They're supposed to be anyway. But I would say that they could be saying, oh, but honey, he was a 30-year naval aviator, and we're starting with his liver. So I don't know, right? But so it may take a while for people to really notice some of the things that they're doing. And that's why I'm really glad you're metrics oriented, because people need to look at their metrics. They'll see the change over time with that. They may not feel it, but they would see it.
And I think that you bring up a really good point. You can't direct them where to go, but it goes back to what we were talking about initially, that our body has the power to heal itself, and everything works within the system. It is a homeostatic, everything depends on everything else. That's how our body works. Like, we breathe and our heart beats, and there's things that we can't even imagine are actually going on within. So it makes sense that stem cell is just kind of like a blank slate, and it's going to go where it's needed the most first, and that it needs to go in that order, because if this thing over here is, still inflamed or still having a problem or whatever, it doesn't matter if you fix the brain, because maybe this over here is going to keep causing the problem over and over again and cancel out everything they're doing. So it's got to go over here first, fix this guy, then go over here, fix this guy. And then all of those things in culmination with each other will create this balance within the body, I think.
And Jody Lynn, what is the positive effect of even just reducing inflammation in your body? Let's just talk about the disease we're preventing by just taking away the causes and calming the anxiety, calming the PTSD, calming the depression, and reducing all of those things. That in and of itself is huge for your body's health, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Honestly, I'm so excited. I feel so empowered. I mean, there's been a lot of times in my life, especially as of recently, I have felt defeated and felt hopeless when it came to the medical system and the lack of information that I was getting, or that they were willing to give me. And I felt like this product gave me the hope that I needed to come back to my own divine light. Pun intended, right?
Come back to light warriors on a mission to deliver hope, right? Light warriors on a mission to deliver hope.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. I think that we are out of time. We're going to drop details where you can find pricing and information, or you can reach out to us in the show notes here. So if you're interested, definitely take a look, and we'll let you know. We'll keep updating you along our journey. And again, thank you so much for being a part of the conversation.
I love you guys so much. I feel like you're part of my tribe, and it's been a joy. One of the biggest blessings of LifeWave is that I get to do and make friends that I feel like I've known for life and that are just special to me. So you guys are amazing, and love you both so much. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks to everybody that's watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.